Okay, so I wrote one final letter. To the victims of the No Sleep Moron cult. This time I wrote to Anissa as I found her mom's P.O. box. I wrote Anissa a letter. And this is the final letter. That I intend to send. Them, any of them. I'm not gonna write them. Any of them. I'm not gonna write them. She's the one that got stabbed. Anyway, I wrote to Anissa. To be honest, I don't know if any of this is appropriate, but now. Now they're all 18 now, so Anissa, I believe, turned 18. Also last year, so I wrote this letter. It's not as long as letters that I wrote to Morgan. Because Morgan needed more attention. She needed a little bit more extended support. Considering she'd been programmed into a homicide charge and all that. But anyway, attempted homicide charge. Yeah, that needed some more. Extension, right? At least an effort to clear her. Anyway, I wrote to Anissa. This is what I said to Anissa. Hey, thanks for defending Morgan in court. I saw you correct the judgment. You tried to call her an actor. I wrote to her. I don't know if she ever got my letters, but I made an effort to explain what exactly happened to you guys. It wasn't full, and I don't know if you'll get this letter from me. It's even appropriate, but I was trying to attack the media and my parents' capitalism. And my early childhood when I created the script to the incident, I put your name on it. Here are archives of those letters in case you're interested in sending them out to the links. And wrote the URLs to those links. I realize what I'm saying here is that in the month of August in the year 1992, I wrote a script detailing this incident, pretty much to the letters, showed it to two other people before it was then ritually burned, and then those links explain why. I also explain it much more clearly and concisely in this letter. I didn't write as much in this letter as I just wanted to get a straight point across. Just 1 second. Because Alyssa's a little bit more clear-headed, at least at this point. Okay, not bad. Continuing, okay, I'm not expecting you to bear any further interest in, input from, or correspondence with me personally, but since I'm still sitting here with a pen in my hand and a potential medium for communication, I'm going to extend this letter, which you're free to discard without reading or responding to, of course, but I feel my insight must bear some description of valid resonance. First of all, my two friends that I did this with were losers. They were both suicidal drug addicts to begin with, which at the time and in the state of mind I was in presented itself to me as an opportunity, as shady as that is. The one dude I spent the most time with lived with his grandma in a trailer park in Pawpaw, Michigan near Kalamazoo, and I would hop a Greyhound from Chicago and visit him all by myself at age 16. So here I am, hanging out with him in his room, and our other buddy from down the road shows up and says, "It's a beautiful day outside, it's so perfect, I'm gonna go jump off the bridge. Are you guys gonna come jump off the bridge with me? Come on." "I'm not personally interested in jumping off a bridge," I said, "and I don't really want to go to the bridge with you to watch. That's not really my style, bro. I'd rather talk you into stalling on the sentiment just long enough to help me support the cause, so you can go out with perspective on the influence you left behind, if that's where you're really at." And he's like, okay, I'm actually intrigued now and interested in hearing where you're going with this. "All right," I said. Give me a moment. For the record, I don't correspond with either of these dudes that are part of the "I'm gonna jump off the bridge" guy is the one who's still alive, so far as I'm aware. I proceeded to share my plan with these guys verbally first. "First of all," I said to Jeremy, "you do have friends. Me and Chris are your friends, and we're two individuals with autonomous minds who are fully cognizant of the dynamic behind how the American dream's capitalist ideal funnels all finance and human conscience and emotional sensitivity into a rat race to the highest rank of status flex. Are we on the same page here?" "Yeah," he said. "All right," I said. "Then, what I need now is a piece of paper and a pen. Can you get that for me, Chris?" He jumps into the air, flies out of the room, procures my requested materials, and hands them to me like I'm the king or something. "Right," I said, "but seriously, I'm eternally grateful for this support you just extended to us here. See, because this pen and this piece of paper is all we ever need in life. But first, I have to show you the gatekeeper." "What the hell is that?" Jeremy said at the sight of my sketch. "That's him," I said. "That's the man. Now, we can tack him to the wall and worship him, pray to him, throw darts at him. What's that going to accomplish?" Jeremy said. "Exactly," I said. "May as well run the same reel on the devil. Complete counterproductivity. Here's what I'm going to do instead." I then wrote 3 names next to the sketch. They were your names. They were not similar or symbols. They were your actual names. "Who are these people?" my friends asked. "These are children," I said. "Remember, Chris, when we first met and had a conversation where we agreed that we were little girls in our true forms, about 12 years old?" "Yeah," he said. "Well, that's us. That's the 3 of us," I said. "But it's actually 3 kids out there that something strange happened to. They became internally stigmatized by a phobia that the gatekeeper, who we'll call Slenderman, would hurt them or someone in their family, unless they did something violent for him to win his favor. Specifically, attempting to murder one of their friends. This one here, she doesn't know what's going on with the other two, see? And I'm emphasizing the word attempt here because our goal is not to murder a child for the gatekeeper. Our goal is to expose him and everything connected to him, the whole empire, and the breach in human merit that enables its very existence. Because what's going to happen when you jump off that bridge, Jay, is you're going to be recycled right back into this bullshit because you didn't change anything. Discorporating from your body doesn't change anything. See, your karma is going to replicate your exact same physical situation, but this is a cause, you see, that will change things. You want things to be different. You want to rest, but you also want to wake up in a better place. So now I need you to just listen to the story of what these girls did, and just tell me if it makes sense. Go on, he said. Well, the first girl top here, she's the one most stigmatized by this monster. But she encountered him on the internet because he obtained some media, and kids were writing campfire tales to each other through an interactive server. A voice in her head started up, see, because we're the ones who created it, and her here, that basically was just saying, hey, you have to take your friend to the gate, and if you don't, it won't be forgiving. We're threatening her? That's right, I said, because if we don't, someone else without conscience will, and that's what we're preventing. Makes sense? Yeah? Okay. So she goes to her other friend for help, and they work out this plan. They write up a shopping list and a little schematic. They get it prepared for when their oblivious friend is with them, and they are all together to celebrate her birthday. And they're all sleeping over at the home of this one here, see? And so then she gets talked into sneaking out with them, and they go to the forest. Now she gets stabbed. Hold on. You just stabbed a 12-year-old girl? Would you rather jump off a bridge or get to find out where this is going? Go on, he said. The girl is left on the ground and found by the cyclist, brought to medic and recovered. It is a big deal in the media, though, because she was stabbed 19 times and almost killed by a hair. Meanwhile, the other two of us are walking to the Nicollet National Forest with our little knapsacks full of granola bars, bottled water, photos of family members, bloody knife to show Slender. When we make it to his mansion, and we're going to live with him there, see? But no, that forest is 300 miles away, fool. We never even got there. The cops find us walking beside the highway. Lock us up. You get 25 years, I get 40 in the birdhouse plus 20 probation. But now the story is all over the media and people paying closer attention and detecting another hand behind this. Okay, the FBI are looking for us now, Jeremy. But don't worry, they want me, not you. When they ask you if what I'm saying occurred, at me out. If you remember, I don't give a fuck. Are you still following me? Yeah, he said, what do I do with this? The piece of paper was in his hand. You make eye contact with Chris on the agreement that this occurred. Then, you burn that page. Then, you make no further reference to it. Go live your life. Go jump off the bridge. Whatever, bro. I don't care. It's not my place to interfere with your free will. What about the kids? They're locked up. Yeah. But now they think. They're not in a position to be dipshits anymore. Everyone has to think now. About how to care about one another instead of enabling shit like this. About how to enable each other's functional interests in pursuit of fulfillment. Bitch, you understand the cause now. Don't tell me, just if you agree, burn that page. Unless you have a better idea or a better plan, I said. In which case, tell me. The boys looked at each other a moment. Chris left the room, procured a match, and they followed each other outside. They came back in, looked at me saying nothing, waiting for me to speak first. Do you like pancakes? A Swedish pancake recipe was handed down to me from my grandmother, and it's the best pancake recipe I know to this day. I make these pancakes for friends to extend the sentiment that I'm looking out for them. IHOP has a similar item on their breakfast menu, but mine are better. I made an effort to distract these boys from the negative.
Thought patterns so common with the Gen X dropouts at those times. I put my feelings out there and gave them a chance. See, I gave him my pancakes, and I gave him a hug, and I gave him his moments to keep in his memory, because that's who I am. I'm a person like, look, they gave us some space here, and I'm here for you if you want me. I can find somewhere else to be, but I like you. Fuck that, I love you too. Let's just be here for a whole minute, you know, for what it's worth. I'm not too busy right now, but I knew I'd never get too close to either of these dudes. We weren't on the same page in the overall scheme of things, and I'd be on my way scouting someone else to make pancakes for in another whole minute. I just wanted them to always remember that there was such a thing as a real person. To have someone to impart that knowledge to was something meaningful and important to me. Yeah, it was backwards, but Anissa, it was my message to Slenderman. I needed him to get that message and just die. I mean, change into something else, like the Aquarian Age or whatever. Who obtains all their privilege from the dissatisfaction and absence of fulfillment of others and is happy? It's a lie. No. I can see you. It's a lie. You're not fooling me. And I'm going to show the world. I'm going to make you see your own self, punk. I'm going to pull you out of the shadows, point my finger, identify you, and win custody of tomorrow. That was my trick. And further extensions are offered in Morgan's letters, other places where my attention was consciously oriented, and the construction of this script, and I'm posting this information to you in an effort to clear you. You were programmed, you didn't do this, and Morgan didn't do this, I did. I hijacked your thoughts, your hands, your identities, I stabbed your friend and locked you up in the name of this, quote, fictional, unquote, character. No, I'm here, but I'm not Slenderman. I'm not looking for anyone's family to waste. I'm trying to correct an error in the collective consciousness. I'm trying to reach someone and to reach a specific goal. That's what the long arms were about. Chris had a brother who lived in Chicago, who would also take frequent hiatus in Michigan, and he came by, and I drew the figure again, handed it to this dude, and this time there was a word next to the figure. It said, Reddit. What is this? He said. Tell him, I said to the other two boys. What do I do with this? He asked, after they filled him in. Take it to the developer, I said. You know a web developer, right? Yeah, he said, I do. That's the name of the server. I said, where the script was developed, by rotating writers, taking the form of collaborative campfire tale traders or horror fiction, fan fiction, through a thread on the forum known as /NoSleep, and using the code creepypasta in place of campfire tales. The details the boys filled this guy in on regarded the character. They made no mention of the names. or anything in reference to them to my knowledge. Why creepypasta? He asked. Why creepypasta? My father owns an Italian restaurant, I said, and he's a chomo. We're going to kill him. In those horror fiction stories, over and over again. In every way everyone can think of. That's straight, I said. Shook my hand, after seeing eye to eye with me on this, and left with that piece of paper in his hand. When I showed that guy in my eyes, I said I was serious and straight-faced in conjunction to my words. I didn't just want this man killed. I wanted him to burn in hell. I've grown up since then. I just wanted to tell you, if it helps you understand why I was violent. Ultimately, my target, which I articulated clearly to these boys and everyone else I ever talked about this with, was redirecting the value of money to the value of communication and actual human need and compassion. And this is the only context in which the business end of this situation, if such a thing exists, is relevant, so far as I'm concerned. Last I heard, Peyton quarantined herself to her house and sleeps with scissors. So that detail should be straightened out before shit like HBO has any place in the matter, and your mom might be interested in taking note of this. Considering I hold an account with Kevin Riley, president of Turner, which owns CNN, and am willing to help you out if mutual reception exists. For the record, I'm focused in the ideal of adjusting cultural functionality, not serving cinema culture and Hollywood. Fuck HBO. But if a film is in collective interest, it will be one that provides a schematic for that functionality, or forget it. Ultimately, I don't feel at this time that movies synchronize with essential business at all. What's going on here at the moment is my roommate is talking to an associate down from plague exposure, so I'm mixing medicine here for her. We haven't had contact with this person since maybe 5 months ago, but she used to be one of the gardeners at the ranch we used to attend full moon drum circles at, which we abandoned at that scene on finding out it was a meth cartel territory. The formula I'm mixing is a powder. Designed to release the body's natural latent human growth hormone by 695% while in a state of deep REM sleep. I'm not a licensed doctor, but I know how this works. You just put zinc, 15 milligrams, magnesium, 50 milligrams, lysine, 1200 milligrams, arginine, 1200 milligrams, L-theanine, 200 milligrams, hydrotryptophan, aka 5-HTP, 100 milligrams, ashwagandha, 150 milligrams, and finally melatonin, 10 milligrams, in a glass of water before deciding to go to sleep and drink it. It's not rocket science. They already gave her conventional medicine, sent her home, and told her good luck, so we're going to bring her Ma Huang and a week's worth of this HGH pickup I'm making to help her along. See, the L-theanine reduces anxiety, resting heart rate, and increases duration of sleep. The zinc is for ease of getting to sleep and increased morning alertness. The ashwagandha decreases stress, cortisol, anxiety, and promotes relaxed state. The lysine is what releases the HGH. And the melatonin is to get to sleep faster, and also increases duration of deep sleep. Then the 5-HTP enhances the effect of the melatonin. Human growth hormone is why kids have so much more energy and octane than you do as an adult. It's also the reason, among others, that probiotic beverages like kombucha have become popular in recent years, since they assist that process as well as rebalance metabolism and pH. If you feel sluggish and lethargic and overweight, do this every night. Minus the Ma Huang, that's just for a temporary boost of that lady's respiratory function. People that don't know what they're doing with that can potentially form addiction to it because it's ephedra. But anyway, there's that. And also, look up natural sources for zinc picolinate. It cures psychiatric conditions, including bipolarity, clinical depression, and schizophrenia. Sources include turnip skins and egg whites. Also, if you want sleep music, try Summer Make Good, and finally We Are No One by Mum. Good luck staying awake listening to those records even without herbal supplement. If any of this helps, take note that I'm grateful for the opportunity to extend this time for us. Adrian. And David Lynch. And I might write an extension on why I wrote that. But as of yet, I have not done so. And I might not feel that it's necessary to do so. In either case, there's the letters that I wrote to Anissa, and those will be my final handwritten letters to the victims of the No Sleep Foreign cult.
Alright, here is the postscript to that letter. Okay. In 1994, my father closed his restaurant, Rio's Outside area, one night, and got in his car with his wife, his two daughters, and me. This was routine, and as we did not live at that restaurant, but in the 2 floors above his Italian joint in Old Town. Heading home down the highway with his wife protesting that she needed to be the one driving because he was too drunk, which was true, swerving all over the road, so she kept grabbing at the wheel to readjust it as the daughters, who were minors, sat bug-eyed in the back seat and frozen with trauma, while he tried to figure out if he had to close the chapter on all 5 of us and was literally narrating his thoughts out loud, at which point I made a call to David Lynch. Silently, I then verbally directed this guy and his wife and kids safely back home. Then called Chris. Yes, that same Chris. Hey man, I said, come up here and chill with me at my grandma's for a minute. We got some work to do. He caught a bus. And here we are. This time at my grandma's place in Berlin. We have a script to deliver to David Lynch. I'll explain the details when the rest of the boys are here. The rest of the boys didn't exist, but it didn't matter because I knew how to summon them. I took Chris to Oak Park, where we walked into a pool hall and met a party of boys. Followed them to the home of one of them, partied a while. When they realized neither of us were from Oak Park or ever lived there and rightly needed to ask us what the hell we were doing there. Right, I said. You guys are at the university and have media contacts. I'm here because I have a script I need you to deliver to David Lynch for me. It's called The Lost Highway, and it's for a cause. My dad just tried to kill his 2 daughters, his wife, me, and himself while drunk and trapped in a car on the highway. The girls are both minors, and they're my sisters. See, this guy is a dick and a moron. He doesn't understand who he's fucking with, and now we're going to handle this. Do this for me, and you get all the booze out of his restaurant after I burn it down. They took the script. What about this guy? They asked. He's my eyewitness, I said. Got it. You got contact info? Yeah, I said. Get his. We know where your house is. You still have that script in your hand. When we scatter, we come back with kegs and bottles next weekend, okay? Just call Chris and tell him the code, so we know the coast is clear. What's the code? They said. Dick Morant is dead. It's there in the script. You won't forget. It's the first line in the film. So I took Chris to the restaurant, and my dad wasn't faring well at this point because some kind of bad word got out and business had slowed to a point where the books weren't even leveling out but going under, and there were these 2 mafia dudes that showed up dressed in suits and dead straight faces asking to speak with me privately. They said they were from the bloodline and they needed to know what the fuck was going on, so I told them. My dad then gave me a front gate key, so my friend and I could spend the night inside, because everyone else was gone that weekend, as they had relocated to an apartment above his wife's restaurant, and I'm guessing he was testing me to see if I was going to trash the place and steal booze. Those two mafia guys punched my dad in the face and the eyes several times, nearly killing him, to get him to see something, because they were informed about two things: the reckless endangerment incident and a detail regarding a 12-year-old getting stabbed nearly to death by another 12-year-old in an attempt to impress a character I created representing my father. So here we are now, Chris and me, all by ourselves in the 4-story building, mostly abandoned. We started the fireplace on the 3rd floor, and I threw a couple drawers in it from the VIP room bar island that were Victorian antiques and highly valuable, along with an aerosol can which exploded, splattering fire all over the room, which we stomped out as it was just for effect. Then, through a child's shoe we found into the fire, pulled it out with tongs once it was fully engulfed in flames, and threw it out the window, so it landed in the middle of the street at exactly midnight. It was seen by two passerby, who ran to the corner Walgreens to summon the door security guy, and they all looked to the left and right, shrugged and went on their way. We found a bowling ball in the closet and a can of green spray paint. We used to go bowling, I explained, as a pastime, me and my sisters and my dad. So I got him this, but he never used it. The reaction you just saw from the window, shock followed by immediate complacent dismissal, will be pretty much the same when this whole joint goes down, but we're not going to do the dirty work with our own hands. We're marking the target. Follow me. On the 4th floor, there was a small bedroom with a tiny window that opens to the side of the building facing North Avenue, and a giant ad for Marlboro was painted there. I leaned one arm out that window with the green spray paint and drew a peace sign on the black backdrop of that ad, big enough to be visible from the street. My dad's wife saw this later and said it was a gang sign. I laughed my ass off. Anyway, I took him then to the wine cellar in the basement. There was like 6 kegs full of beer down there, and I remember my dad clearly saying to us, "Don't steal my beer." Neither of us have cars or anyone to call to come get it, I said, which was true. So when we came back, he didn't know who did it, as I'd given his key back, but I knew a secret hidden way into the building and showed it to Chris. See, this side gate here by the dumpsters? You can just climb this and jump right over it. Back door is locked, but look, you jump on the dumpster, and the Pizza Hut next to us had a low roof, So we get on that, then walk right up to a window I left the latch unlocked on, leading to the back stairwell to the kitchen, where the back door from there can just be pushed open. Here's the dolly. Roll the kegs into the van. Close the gate behind you so everything looks normal and you're not chased. By the way, I pointed, that's the safe. You will not succeed in getting that out of here without getting popped, and no, I don't know the combination, so just leave it alone. It weighs a ton, and there's nothing inside of any use to us. Its purpose is to just be a kind of ornamental booby trap. Make sure Brian understands that when you guys are here hauling out the booze. Some security plan here, huh? There was no cameras, no alarm system unless the front door was broken into. Next thing I remember, Chris was telling the boys in Oak Park. Next thing I remember, Chris was telling me the boys in Oak Park invited us to a party. There's all these people there when we got there, huge party, and they're telling me we got 6 kegs and all this hard liquor a dude donated us for giving a script to David Lynch for him because his dad tried to kill him and his sisters while drunk on the highway going from his restaurant home to his other restaurant, that we raided all of this from after he showed us how to get in. That's a trip, I said, tripping my glass of beer against his. Cheers. I thought about it for a moment, sipping my beer, and said, sounds like something I would do. They busted out laughing, realized I was serious and factually oblivious to what the hell was going on. After topping off the beer, I looked Brian in the eye, having realized it, and said, Dick Morant is dead, Brian said. Beautiful, I said, y'all are the best. I wrote 3 songs into that script, which were Apple of Sodom by Marilyn Manson, I by Billy Corrigan, and David Bowie's I'm Deranged. Then took Chris over to my dad's wife's restaurant, where I handed him papers containing 3 albums worth of songs for Marilyn Manson, including Portrait of an American Family, Smells Like Children, and Antichrist Superstar, which she was instructed to take to the same boys. For the record, I never met Brian Warner or Jordy or anyone involved with Marilyn Manson. I never met Billy Corrigan. I never met David Bowie. This stuff they did for me happened because I cleared permission on a piece of paper. I did meet David Lynch, though. There was a screening for the director's cut in the city, and I called the theater and asked about the price of the ticket. The person who answered the phone said, "What's your name?" And I thought this was an odd question. Like, do you have to know my name to tell me what a ticket to see a movie costs now? But I answered, my name is Emmanuel Tejero. I'm the director. There's no charge, she said. David is waiting for you in the lobby. So I went there with my dad, which was ridiculous, and at some point we went to the lobby to get popcorn and soda, which was given to us free of charge. And David's standing there. We looked at each other, and I was supposed to engage dialogue, I guess, but didn't have a fix on what I was supposed to say because of my dad standing there, so he effectually blocked my access to my account, and I gave David a silent salutary nod, then went back into the theater and finished watching the film, then went home. All I had to do was ask for my balance, but since that didn't occur, the office closed, and my claim statute of limitation expired, I guess. But what mattered to me is that he saw us in our element and in person. David Lynch is a deep thinker and a genius who was introduced to me through his debut film Eraserhead, and I still respect him and this cult classic, so I realized this might be a noticeably extensive postscript, but I felt it potentially beneficial to offer biodata on my connection to Lynch in case it might be of any use to you. You see, Lynch is one of the people who knew about your incident before it occurred, knows you're innocent of the charge, knows Morgan's innocent of the charge, and likely understands things about me that I don't understand about my own self. He's a wise old cat. He's like 70 years old now. I'm going to stop writing now, but I just want to say this one more time because I saw your court video where you're sitting there telling this judge that you're taking accountability, that you guys were programmed. You're not the ones who did this, it was me, and I talked with a detective about it, and he assured me that the issue was being straightened out. We understand, he said. You're trying to take power away from, not give power to Slenderman. The police read your notes that you wrote to us. We're doing our jobs to the best of our ability. So now, I'm writing to you to let you know they said that to me in case it provides peace of mind for you and clarity on what exactly my trip was. I was extending an effort towards reaching out to human beings in general and considered it my custodial responsibility to address that business with honesty. I wanted to call attention to the consequence of lying to ourselves through a demonstration that could not be easily ignored, dismissed, and forgotten. That was my business, and I wanted that to be everyone's business, not just HBO's business. No, you talk to your child, lady, and talk business. Talk about whatever shared interest you're comfortable discussing and extending support to, and protect the open dialogue. I don't know your business. All I know is I shouldn't have been able to do this. It shouldn't have been impossible, but I had to show you that it was, and if possible, why. I also want to clear this one last issue. Emotional intelligence should not be confused with weakness. There's a poetry book with a dead horse on a Kubrick grid, and the title Diary of an Emotional Idiot by Maggie Estep, author of Hex. That's Maggie. She died in January or February of 2014, but that's her. That's the Maggie who was talking in Morgan's head under my instruction before I sniped her off. She just has to know that's what disables Maggie's internal notification engine permanently. Just show her the cover of that book or a photo of it on a droid screen or whatever, a photocopy, whatever. She just has to know who she is, or was rather. I don't think I meant to kill her, but I don't really know now, and it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get you guys out of their scripts now. They There goes now. There goes. Okay, that is the end of my postscript.